At Level 2, students investigate number sequences that increase and decrease by 2s, 3s, 5s, and 10s. There is a large basis of learning around number sequencing at Level 2 as students explore the connection between addition and subtraction and solve simple problems using efficient mental and written strategies. At this stage, students are able to make connections to patterns involving numbers and identify any missing elements that may provide a solution to a sum. As algebraic thinking begins with patterning in the younger primary years, it is important that students will have completed patterns in Foundation and Level 1 that they can then build on their understanding through continuation and creation of new and missing elements to a pattern. Students will also have number knowledge up to at least 100. What you will need: coloured paper squares, preferably green, number grid worksheet for students to find the missing elements of the pattern, and continuation. The learning objective for this activity is to continue patterns and find the missing elements.
This activity encourages students to copy a pattern and create the next element. They're continuing patterns using skip counting. Students predict values using rules of counting by 2s in this activity. They also start to learn the relation of algebraic equations through the linking of patterns. The patterns and algebra strand supports thinking, reasoning, and working mathematically. Students have to extend their thinking beyond what they see to generalize about situations involving unknowns. By extending the pattern from 1p to 2p, the amount of squares has actually gone up by 2s. So we've used skip counting by 2s. Students can then go on to complete the pattern as a 3p. We've gone from 1p with 1 foot, 2p with 2 feet, and now a 3p of Bob the Centipede. And look at that, he has 3 feet and 2 humps. After completing the pattern, students are able to fill out the table. This helps them link the missing elements and see it visually and be able to write it in the squares. So one humpback pede has 1 foot and 2 squares. So we'll write 2 here. 2 humpback pede, a 2-pede has 2 feet, a head and a hump. So that's 4 squares. A 3-pede has how many feet? 1, 2, 3. So that's 3. How many squares? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If students were to continue the pattern, they would notice that it continues to go up by 2s. You can then ask students after they've completed a certain amount of activities how much they think the pede would have if, for example, it had 10 feet. Students that may be struggling with the concept of skip counting can always use a tens table and skip count as such. 1, 2, 4, 6, and so on.
The activity offers both a visual and written component, whereby students firstly continue the pattern and then report what they noted on the worksheet about the number of squares and missing elements. Students are then able to notice that they found the answer by skip counting. I found this activity to be very interactive and suitable for students at Level 2. It also enables students to be hands-on, which is a great way to learn and offers great differentiation for learning styles. Children learn to solve problems. They have the ability to enhance their memory skills as well as their attention span. The activity encourages students to continue a pattern from what they can see visually through skip counting, and students are also able to extend patterns and find the missing elements to the worded problems as well as the missing elements in the pattern. The differentiation of this activity allows students that may be struggling with skip counting to be able to use a number sheet to help them count by 2s, and above standard students are able to identify the missing elements to the pattern on the worksheet for a given amount of squares. Level 3 algebraic thinking. Students investigate odd and even numbers, recognize and explain the connection between addition and subtraction. They recall multiplication facts of 2, 3, and 5, and continue number patterns, and they also explore simple number sequences based on multiples. The learning intention for this activity is to solve number patterns using magic squares. The purpose of the activity requires an opportunity for students to use their problem-solving skills, to begin to consolidate their skills with algebraic manipulation, and to solve an array of problems using their algebraic tools.
The activity requires students to use algebraic representations of 3 by 3 magic squares, whereby the sum of the three numbers in each row, column and diagonal add to a constant number. In this case, we are using the numbers 5, 3 and 7. So I would use my number skills with the three numbers. I'll start with 5, 3 and 7. Now 5, 3 and 7 adds up to 15. So now on this row, I have to ensure that these three numbers are not in the same order. So next up I will go with 7, 5, 3. And if I go across 7 plus 5 plus 3, gives me 15 also. Then I would do the same thing, changing the pattern around. So in this case I'd go 3, 7 and 5, which still gives me 15. To ensure that I've got the magic squares correct, I would then go downways. 7 plus 3 gives me 10, plus 5 gives me 15. 7 plus 3 gives me 10, plus 5 gives me 15. 7 plus 3 plus 5 gives me 15. Then I would go diagonal. 7 plus 3 gives me 10 plus 5 equals 15. So I can see that I've got this magic square correct. Then students can go on with another magic square with different numbers, 1, 5 and 8. And then after they've done that, they can go on with an extension and make up their own magic squares with their own chosen three numbers.
Justification for the activity. Addition and subtraction plays a vital part in algebraic thinking at level 3, as students describe, continue and create number patterns which may require the student to solve the mathematical problem in order to continue the pattern. Magic squares offer the students a way to explore this concept visually and extend number patterns through the use of either addition or subtraction, but the idea is that all columns add up to the same amount.